Welcome back, guys. Ghetto Rig episode. Which one is it, Miggy?
246.
246. We do have a couple of guests for you guys today, but first, a couple of words about our sponsors: UFC Gym number one, Largo, and UFC Gym number two, Pinellas Park. Also, Vitality 1 and 2. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Especially if you're into jiu-jitsu, classes are filling up very, very quickly. There's barely any space on the mats, so definitely come out and check out. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to great friends of mine and coach. One of my coaches is Derek and his son Derek. So these guys are from New Jersey, and I'll let them go into it a little bit more and how did we met and stuff like that. But anyway, Derek, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where do you live? And same for you.
Yeah, so I live in South Jersey. So South Jersey, next to Atlantic City. I'm probably about 35, 40 minutes away from Atlantic City. That's like the peak of South Jersey, next to Cape May and everything. I'm like in
Cape
the
May,
center,
yeah,
like,
it's a nice area right there. It's pretty
yes,
like rich area, right? Like the
yeah,
Cape
very
May
wealthy
area. Yeah.
So I'm in the, like where I live at in South Jersey is Vineland. So it's like I'm in the middle of everything of South Jersey. It's like 40 minutes, 35 minutes from Philly, like 40 minutes from Atlantic City, like 35, 40 minutes from Cape May. I'm like in the prime spot. So that's a good area. It's like I live like in the suburb area. So
Yeah, you're there, but you're really not there.
yeah, I'm hidden away a little bit.
Yeah.
Right there in South Jersey. Yes.
Yeah. How did you guys end up landing in that area?
My family. So my father and mother was born in Puerto Rico. They flew in from Puerto Rico to New York, and then the family there started migrating down from like in Jersey areas. So a lot of my family that moved from Puerto Rico to Jersey, a lot of them landed in Vineland. So the family just came in and moved into the area and just populated from there with the family.
Yeah. Just to give you a heads up, guys, Vineland, New Jersey is this little tiny town, and this story I'm gonna tell you is about 20 some years old. Back then, I used to work for Bennigan's, right? And there was no, and that was the time when Bennigan's was going franchising out, right? And then they opened the restaurant there, and I was one of the people to open the restaurant. So when I went in Vineland, New Jersey back then, and I'm sure it has changed, and you'll tell a little more about
Yes.
it. There was one intersection. Part of the intersection was a strip, is a mall, but part of the mall was the Best Buy and Walmart. Like it's just that was the mall, you know what I mean? And back then there was like literally that intersection, and then a couple of blocks down the road, like as you enter the city, that's when they opened the Bennigan's in front of this hotel.
The hotel still
The
there.
hotel.
Still there.
Yeah.
Bennigan's is still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yes, still
Is it
there.
still called Bennigan's?
No,
it's probably
they
something else.
sold it. They
Yeah.
sold it. They changed the name, but the building's still there and it's still. It's
What did they
stuff.
turn it into? What kind
A
of
restaurant?
But what theme restaurant is it? Is it similar like
Similar,
American
yeah,
burgers
like
and stuff like that?
Stuff like that, bar and stuff like that in there.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was pretty cool. It was like 1 week in Vineland, New Jersey, and Vineland, New Jersey. I've never had allergies in my life. Never had allergies. After that trip, I came back with like pollen allergies. I don't know why. Maybe it was just the age. Maybe it was just a trigger, something like that. But
That shit
uh,
pissed me off so much. I turned like 21 and I used to make fun of my whole family. Used to make fun of my girl about allergies. Like, you guys let bullshit pollen get to you, and now I'm one of those people. Yeah, that's what I used to mess with
Your
them
body
about.
changes, you know. Your body,
Yeah.
as you get older, your body changes and stuff like that. Different atmosphere and stuff like that. You know, different areas. So it will change.
That's how you were for how many years then? Like, you were
Yeah.
like that until you turned 40 and you started
Yeah.
sneezing all over the fucking place.
Yes. Like I said, man, like when I hit 40, that's when I started to get allergies. Never had them before,
Yeah.
and just came about and just started.
It's the worst, man. It's the worst, and you just can't stop sneezing or your eyes itchy and all that stuff. And when it's weird because it started happening to me like towards the end of me working construction. I worked construction for like 6 years prior to the job. Well, in between a bunch of jobs that I've had, but pretty consistently work construction. And a lot of it was outside, like doing fencing and stuff. And I don't get it, man. I just out of nowhere one summer kicked in and I was dying. Literally just sneezing like 70 times a day within a work day. It was bad.
Wow, yeah, it changes. Your body changes. especially
It's
when you get
weird.
older, you
And
know?
I grew up in this area, which is another weird thing. I was born and raised in St. Petersburg, grew up here my whole life. I guess it's just in my genes. It had to happen eventually. Both of my parents are allergic to pollen as well.
Well, Jersey, man, the pollen's heavy there too.
Yeah.
It's a little different, man. The pollen, you know, when it starts to springtime starts to come and the trees start to fill in,
Yeah.
it gets real heavy. Sometimes that's why you need rain, the rain to knock all the pollen off the tree. 'Cause
Mhm.
if you don't,
Same-
it gets heavy.
Same thing
and
here. It helps.
Vineland is like basically surrounded by like forests and shit.
Farms
like
and
it's
stuff like
farms.
that. Yeah,
and
where I
all
live
that
in
stuff,
my
yeah.
house, all my family members, we own a lot of land. You know, acres and acres of land. So it's like people when I tell them how much land I own between my family and stuff like, they be like, "Wow, it's crazy." You know?
Yeah. And that has it changed? Like talking about 20 years back and stuff like that. How has
a lot of build up.
Can you pull it up on a maps like the aerial view satellite? Yeah, a lot of stuff come through. Like the globalization came through.
Evolving. Companies, big companies are coming around, building and stuff like that. It has built up a lot since 20 years ago. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. So you guys both are on a force. Well, you were on a force. Now you're also still kind of.
Yeah, I'm on limbo. I'm like I'm medical. I'm out, but I'm not on paper. It's weird.
Yeah. How long it was until you like after you graduated with the academy and then you had to move on?
I only did like 3.5 years, almost going on 4.
About 4 years since his accident when the department vehicle brakes went out on the parkway. So
Jesus.
he had to make a choice. Run into somebody, if you ever in North Jersey, it's packed like bumper to bumper.
Known for the worst drivers.
Oh,
Violent.
You guys, I think for a while statistically had the worst drivers in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know if anymore, but I remember hearing that growing up.
Yes. So
if you go to North Jersey, you just see all dents in everyone's car.
Yes, definitely. So he had to make a decision when the brakes went out in the department vehicle.
Damn.
Hit somebody from behind or take the guardrail. So he decided to take the guardrail and messed them up.
Especially like with department vans, they're all raised. So like, say if you're a high level gang member, like you tell your boys, hey, like come get me, I'm going to be on this road, and they come. I guess you can pull off road while they can't.
Yeah.
So in North Jersey, they have a little thing like they like to do is low profile cars. So imagine this van that's raised by like 10 inches, 12 inches, you can go right over them.
Right.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
So with me, I was lucky at least. Like when my brakes started just didn't work no more. I seen they were just a gap, just in the traffic, just magically opened. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit the guardrail. I was just like, all right, let's see. That's the best I can hope for.
Right.
And I remember the first thing that ran through my mind was like, I'm losing my job today. I want to lose my job.
Oh man.
I want to lose my job.
Man.
All right, let me hit this thing. Yeah, end up side swiping like 4 cars. Like there was so much friction, it actually threw me off the guardrail.
Damn.
I had to hit a car. I actually had to fight the steering wheel, hit the guardrail again, threw me off like 2 more times. Then went to just a stop. I was like, oh shit. And then when everything was done, I actually tried to move my arm. It was paralyzed.
Well, shit.
Like I actually couldn't move it at all. We were trapped because we're against the guardrail. Then we got multiple, heavy traffic on my left. So my partner, my boy, actually had to unbuckle me, and we had to kick the door open just to get out.
Damn.
And then go call state troopers, call 911, everything.
The whole process. Now,
How long did that take for them to get there with the traffic?
Oh, it took them the state troopers got there real fast. It took them 10 minutes, but everything else it took 30 minutes. And
traffic, man. Traffic's big up in North Jersey.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. They're honking, but if people can't move out of the way, they can't move out of the way.
So congested out there. That's why.
Can you throw the satellite on, Miggy?
And then the worst part I hated about it was because per our policy, if we're in an accident with the inmate, and the nearest jail has to send people to come get the inmate because now it's like he's a risk.
Oh shit! You had somebody in there, so you not only
transporting the inmate.
Oh, so you're also responsible for someone else. Now you're trying to deal with the accident. Oh shit!
And make sure he don't escape. So that the other departments had to come. They had to get the inmate out of there, get him to where he had to go real quick because you can't just stay.
So how long did it take him to actually put you in an ambulance and take you to the hospital? Because it's not. I'm sure it's not that just easy handoff. You know what I mean?
Oh, they took, like I said, 30, 35 minutes before the ambulance came. They took me, but because our head lieutenant of the jail that day, he called the nearest jail was Northern. They never came and got the inmate. So I was in the stretcher. My partner's right here, calling people who has to call, and then the inmate's just right next to him, full shackles, just chilling. Just in the ambulance. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? If anything happens, I gotta do something right now. I'm strapped to the fucking gurney.
So because of that, you had to leave that, and now you're doing something else, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he's in the process right now. Medical now because he can't work in that field.
Yeah. Well, do you think it could have been worse? It could have been, worse if you didn't train. Would you even I don't know if you can make that connection or not. If you didn't do jiu-jitsu, if you didn't do catch wrestling or any of those things, do you think it could have been worse, this accident?
Your reflexes kind of thing?
It probably could have been worse because, like you said, reflex, you're always thinking, oh, he's moving, he's doing his little movement. All right, let me go. You can see it happen, and then just, even before that, I was shooting for years, like with him, like shooting guns, crossbows. So it's like you get accustomed like to like a heavy situation.
They're gonna fly. They're gonna
Yeah.
fly. You know.
And
Yeah.
and everyone, other officers, and they told him, and my partner told him that, yo, I don't know if I could have made that decision. Like they would have froze up and they just
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
right into people.
Yeah.
Because you know when the brakes go out, you
Dude,
see
that's-
tail lights. You know.
Did you find out what it was? Was it the hydraulics, the lines? What was it?
It was
No, you
just-
didn't know.
Lines go. They busted something like that. They
I think it was busted.
rotted out, something like that, corroded out.
The salt.
Yes, the
The
salt
salt
from
tore
years.
it
So
all
that's,
up.
that's
Oh,
the
man.
partner's vehicle, the neglect on their vehicle maintenance. You know.
But
Well,
they never
yeah.
maintenance their vehicles. Like there was one van we call it a party bus because it's big enough. Like say we gotta go do like a ceremony, a whole bunch that can jump in there. You actually would drive, and at a certain point, actually would start just violently shaking because they need that alignment. So you're just holding a steering when you're driving. You're like, all right, hey guys, like what'd you see last night?
Yeah, I can see it. So they're probably the states cutting budget
cut
and
corners.
cutting
They always
corners
cut
because they don't have
corners.
enough money or whatever
Yeah, well,
to.
today say they
Oh
don't have
yeah,
money.
yeah, like maybe enough. But like, how did you get into
Law enforcement, yeah, I'm assuming,
law
right?
enforcement?
Well, when I was growing up, it's crazy because when I was growing up, I grew up in the projects. So when I was growing up, so they used to come out there and they used to mess with everybody all the time. So when I was just to sit on my to stoop and they used to come grab me and just throw me against the wall for nothing. I could be like 10 years old, 11 years old, just to bother me, you know. And then I used to sit there and I'm like, you know what, man? When I grow up, when I get older, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna become a cop. I'm getting into law enforcement and stop all that dumb shit. So that's how I got in 04. I started in 04. You know, I was out there.
How old were you back then? That was
26.
21 years ago, so 26 or something like that.
26, 27. We turned 27.
And what about you? Right, 18, 19?
Nah, originally
20.
that's what they wanted me to do. They're like, because I was like in the ROTC, like in high school, like for 3 years. And I came out, I was like,
Oh, they had you set up, huh? They,
Oh, no,
they
I
had
did.
you,
I wanted
they had
to
you
go.
marinating through the years, huh?
I wanted to go in the Marines, and then life changes. You see how the world changes. Like I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
And they were like, him and my, yo, are you gonna do something? Like, no.
Yeah.
Go in the military. He said, I ain't going. I ain't going. Oh, come work in law enforcement. Come work in the jail like us. No, I ain't doing that. I see how what y'all got to deal with.
Yeah.
But I
Slowly but surely.
'cause I worked for a couple years like regular like service jobs. Then they bribed me. That was the way they got me into it. They had to bribe me. I wanted to be a pro wrestler before like
What
all
was it?
this.
A PS5? What was it?
Oh.
What was the bribe?
No, it was pro wrestling school
Oh,
because
okay.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to be an actual pro wrestler. They laughed. They're like, he ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm being a pro wrestler. I found like the schools and everything because WWE is actually the best in the country pretty much for training. Then the second best school is the Monster Factory, which is in Jersey and it's 30 minutes from where we live.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and their tuition was like $2,000 or $2,500. So I remember one night we were driving somewhere, I think back from a gym, and you're like, me and your mom talk about it. We will pay for your wrestling school, but you gotta go complete the academy. And they never lived up to their end now.
You can't. You
Yeah.
get into accident.
Yeah.
I can never chase my dreams. I
That's
can
shameless.
That,
right there.
bro.
That is shameless.
Dad,
That
your
was-
mom's got to protect him.
That's a bait and switch that I've seen one.
So,
Oh, shit.
You know, he got
my
into
dreams
accident.
were like leaves in the wind. It's like, oh no, I can't get it no
You
more.
know? So that's that, you know? I'm like, I looked at him like, you can't do that now, you know?
Sorry, son.
That was the worst. That was one of the worst days of my life when I was like, I can't do this. No, I can't go do it.
Well, how old were you when you got into academy?
I was 20 because I turned 21 in the jail itself.
Well, can you talk about like the academy process when you were going in and when you were going in, the differences between the two? Because I'm sure it has changed over the years, right? Like the
Yeah,
it changed.
two decades of difference. So
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
a lot of differences.
Because my whole family's in the department, you know,
Mhm.
my
Okay.
wife, my daughter, my son, you know, and me. The difference it got like Jersey, their academies is like the number one best in the country
Mhm.
when it comes to law enforcement academy. They got real high. Everything is like timed. Everything's real strict, you know. You have to pass it at least with 80% of credentials of physical and school, you know. If you don't pass that 80%, you're not gonna graduate.
yeah.
So yeah,
So it's pretty competitive.
yeah, real competitive. You know, we try to the next best state in the country that comes close to us, it'd be California.
California, okay.
With the academy part, with the stipulations they make.
So they're constantly improving the
Yes,
academy. So it's not just like a static thing, changes things like every 5 to 10 years.
I got a quick question for the academy part. So I have a friend actually right now. He's going. He just started the academy here in the Pinellas County.
Yes.
Right. And he's a martial artist as well. He's been kickboxing for about 4 or 5 years, and then jiu-jitsu for about 3 years.
Yes.
And he was telling me that it's kind of like the striking part. They got a good striking coach, like an ex-fighter or whatever. So that part was pretty good, but the grappling was kind of fugazi, right? Like it was certain things like they were judging him really harsh on certain parts. That's like, dog, I trained jiu-jitsu under so and so black belt. I understand like this is how you're supposed to do it. Whatever there be a grip or whatever, right? How was that like the martial arts part? Do you think that like something as because what he was telling me is there's a lot of people that go in there with zero experience, right? 120-pound girls that are small girls that go in there, zero experience, so they have no weight to push around, no strength, and no technique, right? How, back in when you did it, were people like that going through the academy and making it?
Yes, believe it or not, yes. People were going and they were making it. You gotta have an open mind. You gotta be a student at anything you do.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you do in life. Every day you gotta be a student to learn. You can't have an ego because what's the number one thing that hurts everybody is themselves, is them egos. If you don't have an ego, just go and learn. You'll progress.
And I know you've dealt with that a little bit, right? Because
Yeah.
you're trying to put together a group of cops, and get into it, and a lot of them are like very opposed to it, right?
Yeah. I tell you right now, coming in right now, like in Jersey, what we got is called Heroes on the Mat, right? So there's a lot of guys that train jiu-jitsu, submission grappling, and now it's getting big now. It's from New York to Philly to Jersey, so it's
in the tri-state area. It's getting big.
Area, and that's gotten real big. So it's just law enforcement against law enforcement or veterans.
Kind of like they were doing the baseball and basketball and all that
like
stuff, and football,
yeah. So everybody's starting to train and stuff like that, and it's pretty awesome because it encourages other people that work for the department to see that better their life. Not just to train, but think about it. If you train, health, one day you can defend your family if you're out and about, so it helps out a lot, but I think everybody should train, definitely trains,
So how did your journey, did you go in directly into jiu-jitsu, or was it more like kind of followed?
Through me.
No, don't let him lie to you.
That's how this happened then.
Cause he brought me. It was Phil and Rick.
Phil and Rick. I started with when I first started jiu-jitsu, it was with Phil and Rick from Team Balance in Philly, and then and Rich Komar Jiu-Jitsu. That's my first professor. Awesome dude. I still talk to him to this day. I started with them.
Yeah. So he started bringing me around like I was 8 years old. Like to go. He's like, hey, Derek. I was like, little kid. I'm like, all right, it's gonna be fun.
Something new, yeah.
Yeah. Then him being a typical dad. No, you can't. Like just being hard as hell for no reason. Like I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
I'm an 8-year-old kid. Then I picked it back up when I was in high school, like my sophomore year, because one of my friends, he was doing jiu-jitsu. I was like, I know I can beat him.
Yeah.
I know, because I was already doing like jiu-jitsu and street fights, like fucking people up.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I can beat him. And for years, he would ask me, hey, Derek, we're going to train today. You want to come? No. Hey, Derek, we're going to train. We're going to do a
So
gi.
one day, knock
No.
on your door, huh?
No. And even then, it was more funny. Because the day I said, yeah, he was like, Derek, we're doing gi. You want to come train? I was like, sure. Really?
Yeah.
Like a little kid got something new on Christmas.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, come on, I'll get a gi out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
right.
just kept going. I was like, all right.
You know what? And it does happen, right? Don't ever try to push him. Just keep on asking.
Yeah.
So one day they decide or not, And then he did, and then he went full blown. And to this day, still trains. If he's not on the mat, he's learning, he's studying. He's always studying like new styles and stuff like that. So he's real.
So
big
it's
into
been
martial
10
arts.
years for you, and it's been what, 20-something for you?
Yes, I started jiu-jitsu in the end of 2006.
Shit, so it's been 19, 20 years now.
Yeah. I started, like I said, I've been grappling my whole life.
Mhm.
I've been wrestling since I was 10. I've been on the mat since I was 10. Did basic wrestling, district states, and then once I was done high school, a friend of mine's doing high school. When I was done, he got started doing submission grappling, right? So at the time, I didn't know what I was doing. Like,
Can you talk about submission grappling a little more? Like,
Yeah.
Because I'm sure people that are watching that
so-
kind of have no idea what.
So I have a different thought process, right? But everybody's like no gi jiu-jitsu. Don't get me wrong, I love jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, I'm all jiu-jitsu. But when there's no gi, it's not jiu-jitsu, it's submission grappling.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about grappling because there's different kind of arts of grappling with no gi, right? So that's how I got into it. I was doing basically wrestling with submissions, right? But it was catch, and that's how I started, right? And then when I was wrestling,
If you were to explain catch wrestling versus jiu-jitsu, what would be the easiest way to explain it?
jiu-jitsu, the jiu-jitsu side is more I counter off you, right? You know, if you get me, you make a mistake, and then I make you pay for that mistake. Catch is not like that. Catch is like I'm gonna make you make the mistake, and I'm gonna take what I want from you. So it's more aggressive.
Mm.
You know why jiu-jitsu is not so aggressive. Like when I wrestle and stuff like that, they're like, oh, why are you so aggressive? Because my jiu-jitsu is not gentle. I'm a wrestler. You know, just learn jiu-jitsu and understand it and understand everything about jiu-jitsu, but I don't want to wait around for you to make that mistake. I just make you make the mistake and take what I want. That's just how my process is on that from the wrestling and catch side. Remember, I started wrestling before I did any jiu-jitsu.
So who would you say one of the guys that's out here competing right now at those higher levels is kind of following that type of a
catch?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if he's still competing, but Karan Jacobs is one of the best. Karan Jacobs is one of the best. Catch.
Why have I heard that? I've heard that name somewhere. Karan Jacobs.
Yeah, he made a movie. What was it? What was the name of the movie?
Documentary?
Yeah, he did. Like, he went around to, like, all over the country and a couple different countries.
Is he a football player?
No, Karan Jacobs is a wrestler.
Karan.
College, everything, and he's like a multi-time world champion in catch.
Could you maybe educate me more on the guy that's going to be grappling Craig Jones, Gables?
Gable Stevenson.
Yeah, give me a little more. I'm not a wrestling person. I have no knowledge whatsoever.
He's considered now like the best like heavyweight freestyle wrestler because he took gold I think a couple years ago. I think he retired. I'm not too sure if he retired.
He's a heavyweight that can move like a lightweight. He's that fast. He's real good, real technical wrestler.
But he's been training with Ryan a little bit and John Jones, so he might know some moves, and then he puts a lot of pressure on Craig, and he might get him.
Yeah,
like
I still give it to Craig.
I
still give it to Craig.
If they was to go at it, this is my aspect of it in a real life situation. Craig won't have nothing for Dan Gables.
Well, the only thing I think
and like on the street scenario kind of thing. Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
like a Bradley Martin situation. He's 250.
He's just too big, kind of thing.
He moves like a little one. Dan Gables is he's a heavyweight that moves like a lightweight, and he's strong.
So in this game, he's gonna have to watch those leg locks, basically.
That's it. Rocks and leg locks. You know, it's rule setting. You know, so so he can Craig can stall a little bit. You know, entwine his legs with him and just start looking for his entries and stuff like that.
And Craig is used to going against a lot of bigger dudes as well. He is one of the smaller ones that competes in the absolute division. At the end of the day, going against like guys like Gordon and Hulk and all these big dudes that compete in jiu-jitsu.
So I don't think he wrestled a guy like actually with Gable's like actual pedigree for wrestling.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the difference,
like,
right?
The pressure and him actually be able to control.
Yes.
That's just going to be.
How was it for you transitioning from catch wrestling? Were there? Because I'm sure, you know, if there are any leg locks in catch, it's not as advanced as jiu-jitsu leg locks, right? Like they're not as intricate.
Believe it or not, man, catch was doing leg locks way before. People want it. They probably argue and debated on it. Yeah, catch was doing leg locks way before.
Well, when you're saying leg locks, you mean like straight ankles, heel hooks, all that stuff?
Doing the way heel hooks, straight ankle locks, toe holds.
One of the things I like to do is like buy like old books and everything, like it's actual books made by the original catch wrestlers, like from the early 1900s and 1800s. They're doing leg locks, like black and white pictures, way before Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was ever invented. Because Jiu-Jitsu, I think, was in the 40s or like late 40s. It was invented, but catch has been around like since the 1700s.
Well, isn't Jiu-Jitsu that kind of like the Gracie family kind of said, oh no, these guys that are doing the leg locks, they're like they're the farmers,
guys.
they're the rednecks, they don't know jiu-jitsu. We're the ones that really know jiu-jitsu. They pushed
because they didn't understand leg locks. They didn't know how to defend them.
Yeah,
and that's why they took them away. You know, and really, leg locks it's really made for the streets. If on the streets and somebody sneaks me and I fall next to your legs, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna attack your legs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to get back up. If you give me your leg, your ankle, I just take your leg out and that's it. Get back up and keep on moving. You know, so that's what it is. They didn't understand.
So that transition wasn't as bad because for me, like coming from gi and doing gi, and then not concentrating as much on leg locks. Now that I'm getting more into the leg locks, I'm like a white belt when it comes to leg locks, right?
Yes.
And that's my biggest fear when I do go compete, especially in no-gi. Leg locks is my biggest thing where I'm like, I
tell everybody this: learn defense. Any if you're a wrestler or a jiu-jitsu catch, learn defense. Because once you get confidence with your defense, your offense just get that much better. Defense is the number one thing. You learn if you want to do leg locks, learn the defense. Learn defense on that, and then you'll see the difference how you progress with your leg locks.
One thing, just don't play the game with them. Oh, he's starting to go for that lot. Let me just reset. Yeah. You reset, he has nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is one of the things when you're standing and someone's playing guard and trying to go for leg locks. That's like something you see a lot of people forget when they get entangled. It's like if they don't have the best grip on entering into whatever they're trying to do, whatever guard they're trying to play for a leg lock, just turn around and walk. Literally, you can just hit a 180, and if they don't have the best grip on that leg, you're gonna slip it out. Especially spinning the heel around.
When people from the bottom, right, they enter a leg lock, they need connection. If you don't give them that connection, right, they can't enter.
Right.
So sometimes I watch people now. This is the wrestler part of the catch. I'm like, why are you just staying there? Why are you being proactive? Why are you letting him come up to you, grab onto your leg? Why I'm letting you do that?
Back up and reset.
Why I don't put a wedge between me and you, right? If you come in, if you're on butterfly, you coming in to get your shin to shin. Why I'm gonna let that happen? I know what's gonna happen. Well, what happens? I just shrug your shoulders, hit you right back. If I put you back on your back and not enter, then you'll never enter. I don't understand that. Sometimes I watch that, I'm like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a different mindset I got.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're being more like, instead of like, let's deal with instead of like, oh shit, he's got the fucking, I don't know, he's got the infection. Instead of getting the infection, you're being more proactive. It's like, okay, well, let's not get to the point where you're gonna get an infection. Let's cure this before you even start.
It's like you said with jiu-jitsu mindset. They're entering it and almost thinking like, let them work and wait until I see a gap, and then I'll exploit. Right, so I think that's what happens there. It's like, oh, let me just play the game a little bit, and then I'll figure out a way as they're trying to progress to exploit one of their mistakes. But like you said, that's just waiting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let's wait. So if you're a guy, if I'm on top, on the top, right, and then you're on the butterfly, you're playing, I'm not gonna let you get the connection. I'm not gonna let you try to get half guard. I'm gonna stop all that and pass, right? Or I'm gonna try to stuff you down, shut down your hips, your legs, and everything to pass. But a lot of times, I tell everybody this is how when I started studying grappling, a submission, it just doesn't happen. A submission is going to come off a pass or a sweep, right? Setup.
Yeah.
So if he's trying to set into me, like come in to get connection, and I'm stuffing it, right, setting up a pass, right? A lot of times, he can't think about two things at once. So if I'm trying to pass, he's trying to stop my pass, in reality, I'm going to submit him because I'm setting up that submission, and he's not ready for that. He just wants to stop the pass. That's how you get caught. A lot of people don't think that way, That's how I was taught to think that way.
Yes, and that's coming from your catch, where it's more because I know we were having this conversation. And
more proactive versus reactive.
Yeah, and you said something that was kind of like, oh, okay, and I can kind of see it because in jiu-jitsu it's more like position before submission, but with catch it's submission before position.
Yeah,
right.
So,
there's that mentality.
What I do a lot is pain is my friend, right? When people say, what you mean? So when I'm wrestling and I got you in a certain position, I'm gonna put so much pain on you somehow, some way that you don't want me off you. You're gonna want the pain to stop. While I'm putting that pain, you're thinking about trying to push me off you, but I'm setting up for a submission. I'm just putting pain just to put pain. I'm not trying to submit you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to set something up for the submission. To frustrate you, not to think about what I'm going to do. So I don't want you to just say, if I got you side control, and if I'm dropping my shoulder into your jawline and putting so much pressure, you feel like it's going to break, right? What you want to do? You want to push me off, right? But what happens? Then you give me what I want, right? So I'm thinking, I got side control. I'm looking for that Kimura, right? Looking for that Kimura. I start putting pain. As soon as you raise your arms away from your body, because when your arms are close to your body, you're tight. It's hard to get, right? But if you move it away from your body,
the more strength you lose.
You move strength. So you give me what I want, and I just take it. The whole time I didn't care about that. What do you think I'm going to do to you? You just want me off that position.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So how does that help you? Like that, bring it. So how many years was that before you made the transition to jiu-jitsu?
Um, Wrestling, I always did it like when I was being in wrestling when I was younger. The coach used to show us some stuff that were submissions because what happened is with wrestling they took a lot of the submissions out and they made it like freestyle and stuff like that because they didn't want the locks and stuff like that, the arm locks and stuff. So, but a lot of the old school wrestlers, like coaches and stuff like that, they knew about that, and they used to, when I was young, they used to show us. Then, like a friend of mine, when I got a little older, he would just show me submissions. I didn't even know what it was, but at that time, then as I got older, I found out. No, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I know what it is. That, and I started teaching. They're like, "Oh, you know, catch." I'm like, I've been knew what it is,
Yeah.
But then I learned it was catch, and then that's how I started like that.
So go into history a little more, right? Like, cause it looks like you're into books and stuff like that. How
Yeah.
did that all come around?
Pretty much, it started off in England. It was collar and elbow. It's just basic wrestling. Like you couldn't touch the leg. It was almost like Greco, but you had a jacket. So it was a lot more sweeps and like underhooks and
Oh,
throwing.
so you could use the jacket.
Yeah, you can use the actual jacket like to pull someone into like sambo and judo.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Josh Barnett, he talked about a lot that it also started off with the miners. Like the miners in that area, when they were on break or they were done, they would go wrestle, they go gamble. Like, hey, I bet this amount of money I can go beat you. And then what helped it the most though was the British military, because they would go around. British had the biggest empire in the world in history, so they would take different wrestling styles, like from India. India has a big wrestling culture, and Afghanistan has a big wrestling culture. Greece, they were in there for a while. Just different places, even in Senegal, which is starting to get more popular now. They just took different things and they just incorporated it as time went on. And then I forget the guy's name who founded the school, but it's a Snake Pit Wigan over in England. He pretty much made the first school for catch, like made the first like lineage, which a lot of like the most famous catch guys, that's where they come from. But then there was also a difference, like the Gracie's only like, well, who was the guy that told him? Again, it was Maeda?
Yeah, Kimura,
No, Kimura was the one that beat him. I think, yeah, it was Maeda.
yeah.
Like how they had, like, there was like 5 guys he taught like judo to, and then they all like did their own like lineage.
Yeah, because Gracie doesn't come from Maeda. He comes from a guy that Maeda taught.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they said it can't, like, the history, we don't know the history, but they said, like, Gracie's say, like, Maeda taught them, and that really was one of his students supposedly taught the Gracies.
And that was kind of like a similar thing like for catch. Like America, we actually made our own like lineage that it came from like Ad Santel, which I like him because his story is funny with catch. He beat a supposed, because back then you could lie a lot. Back in the 1800s, he beat the world champion in judo. He beat him. He's like, I'm the new world champion now. And the Kodokan got mad, and they kept sending judokas at him, and he just kept beating them. Like he beat like over like a dozen of them. It got to the point he was like, okay, how about this? If I stop saying I'm the world champion in judo, will you stop sending guys after me?
Yeah, I bet you.
And then you had him. You had a guy named Farmer Burns, which he's most famous for being hanged because his neck muscles were so conditioned. You actually could hang him, like the guillotine, like you drop him through the floor, and he just flexes his neck muscles, and he's alive. You can't kill him.
Yeah.
And then you have Frank Gotch, who is considered the best catch wrestler in history. But as time goes on, the sport gets better.
Like every sport.
Yeah, every sport gets better. And then you had George Hacksmith, which he was a world champion in catch over in, I think he was in the Austrian Empire at the time. I could be wrong. He was a world champion in catch, and he was a Greco-Roman champion. And him and Gotch had, I think it was like one like the first $1 million gates. And pretty much them going back and forth.
That was one of my old coaches right there.
Which one? Go back.
Oh, Joel?
Joe, yeah. Right there.
That big dude.
Yeah.
The
He's
hell
he's very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable in catch.
What does he eat for breakfast? Babies? Jesus Christ.
He's
Homeboy
probably like
is big.
6'4",
Jesus.
military, special ops and stuff like that. Very knowledgeable in catch and wrestling. What is it? He was the alternate for Olympics.
Yeah. He was the Greco-Roman champion, Air Force, and freestyle champion. He was the Greco captain, and then he was the alternate for the Olympics, but he never went and competed himself.
What do you guys think about this theory? So, like we just said, all sports change and they get better. New moves start to come out. Different styles start to become dominant. I mean, we all saw the age of heel hooks, then the age of body lock passes, and whatever's going on now, right? So, my question is like a theory in the sense of, so all these guys back in the day, and I'm just gonna make it real basic, right? So, say back in the day they had a three move rules, like three move set, like that, and that's all there was. It was just so basic, and that's kind of all they knew. Do you think that those guys, because they only did those kind of like, say, 3 moves versus the guys nowadays, they master 20, right? Like something as basic as a Toreando pass, right? Like these guys did it 1,000,000 times, right? Maybe the new age guys seen it hundreds of thousands, but this guy did it 1,000,000, right? Do you think that those moves would be they would be able to pull them off as dominantly on new age?
Yes, I'm all about basics. Every time I wrestle or doing jiu-jitsu, it's nothing fancy. My thing is, if I know there's one move, right, and I'm so good at that one move,
Right.
and I'm always trying to put, I seen every position of that one move I'm trying to pull off. People try to defend and stuff
Exactly.
like that. I learned how to beat them defenses with that one move, So basics always is going to win fights, because if you don't have a strong foundation, you can't build a house just to build a house, right? You need a good, strong foundation.
So
Sorry, Jay, but it reminds me, like, the reason I thought of the theory is because, like, you hear Bruce Lee's famous saying, I'm more afraid of the man that has practiced one kick 10,000 times than the man that knows 10,000 kicks.
Yeah, a perfect example is Ronda Rousey. What was she known for? Her armbar.
Right.
Every time she went into the fight, all the girls know, she's going armbar.
Yeah.
She's going to do armbar, and they could never stop her.
Or
'cause
Paul
that's what she
Craig with
did.
the triangles.
Yeah, because no, it is
Time for
they
the
see
fucking
every
lightweight
Yeah.
angle from that position, that defense, and they learn how to beat that defense from that angle to get what they needed, the submission off.
Yeah. You were going to say, Jay, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, if you were to take this new age, catch or jiu-jitsu or things like that, and I know this is a speculation, right? Like, there's not a good answer for any of this stuff. And pin it against the guys, those old school guys. How do you think those matches would end? Because yes, there's more moves now. There's more things that people do, but still, time on the mats.
It's the more time and things evolve, you get better. Different entries, right? Everything's got to do with an entry, right? You just learn different entries, and you'll catch people by surprise from a different entry. So you evolve and you'll get better at that. And the new guys probably will. I'm not saying will just destroy an older guy, but they have a little bit more different entries than the older guy, because they don't train the different entries.
So it would be more like, when the UFC was starting the first 5, whatever, and then you compare it to where we are right now, it's a totally different game where the guys would come in their karate kimonos versus...
and the UFC is hard. It's still a relatively young sport, right? MMA is a very young sport.
But it's evolving, probably the most evolving.
It evolves super quick. It has definitely evolved super quick.
Do you think we've hit a plateau point?
No, I think we've hit the beginning.
Yes. No, and you think about the UFC, right? You have the best fighters in their discipline come in, right? And that's why it's called MMA, mixed martial arts, right? Now, MMA became a martial art
On its own, right.
Because now you got some of these guys that they trained since they were kids in the gym, mixed martial arts. They didn't straight jiu-jitsu, straight boxing, Muay Thai, none of that. They trained enough in every discipline that made them good. So those are the ones those are the dangerous ones. Because they don't got to be a world champion jiu-jitsu, but they know how to pass, sweep, defend, do all that. But at the same time, they're good at striking, Muay Thai, wrestling. So those are the dangerous ones.
I feel like the number one thing you see in that newer generation that are so diverse and they are good at everything, not great at one thing, but good at everything, is they know how to flip the switch in MMA. You see a lot of the old legends, not even guys that are still fighting today, they struggle to flip the switch between grappling and striking. They're in the middle of a grappling exchange, clearly have very good advantage to get ground and pound, but it's like their brain's too on grappling to even think about throwing a punch. Or the other way around too, right? Like they can have a fighter super hurt on the feet, and they don't think to keep striking. Their grappling instinct kicks in, because that's what they originally were, was a grappler. Those new age guys, they're mixing it, and there's no switch. It's all just one, like you said. They're not switching between martial arts. No. That mixed martial arts is its own martial art now.
Well, you can see Ilya Topuria, right? Like, I mean,
Volk was one of those one of the new guys is not the best at any of those things, but good at everything.
That's all you need, man, to win, and that's why he's so good.
but you're also seeing, like you said, like the flipping the switch. You're still seeing a lot of the new guys. They still have that trouble. Like
Yeah.
I would see like when watch a fight. Oh, they got him against the cage, and they're not doing nothing with their arms. Like the guy actually defending the take, he's doing nothing. He's just defending the takedown. Just reset from the clinch, just let go of the clinch and start striking.
Right.
Then re-enter. Like just start doing that.
Yeah.
And it throws him on. Like, oh shit, I'm getting hit right now. He brings his hands up. What happens? Now you can shoot for the double leg and pull him off the cage.
They get so
So zoned in.
tunnel
That's why they got
vision
horse blinders
on a certain route when that grappling exchange happens or when the striking exchange happens. It's just like a focus happens and they block out all the other martial arts available to them.
Like Chael Sonnen, he also talked about like when he would watch guys like, why are you wrestling right now? You're on top of him. Start hitting him. It's not a grappling match. Start
Exactly.
punching them.
Exactly. Or a lot of guys will be grappling and then get in the clinch and not throw a single elbow or a single knee. They're just trying to like still grapple and trying to get a takedown, right? And even though they're struggling and using all their gas tank to get that goddamn takedown, and they don't throw a single strike.
I don't understand it, but a lot of it too, just the coaches too. The coaches, that's why you got some good coaches out there telling you to calm down and this is what we need to get done,
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it got to do with coaches. Coaches. It all depends,
Yeah.
coach and how he's teaching them.
Now, what do you think about these new Russian guys that are coming in, and they seem to be a trouble? Like there's one in each division, and these guys are just. What do you think the answer to that is? Because these guys are coming in from wrestling background, right? Like majority of them are
The mountains,
wrestling, right?
the mountains of Caucasus wrestling. What are we supposed to do about that?
No,
All those
my
ginger
answer
guys,
to
they're
that.
whipping everyone's asses.
My answer to that is mindset.
Yeah,
Anything you do, their mindset is different from our mindset.
yeah.
Oh,
Eat,
yeah.
Pray, train.
Yeah,
That's it. That's all they
it's
have.
their mindset. So when you put that mindset into somebody that has that mindset and teach them a technique and everything, it's hard to beat it because they're willing to let their arms break, pass out, or go to death because they're going to win somehow, some way. A lot of guys that don't have that mindset, they get caught in the situation. They feel a little pain, or they feel a little. They see they're getting choked. They so it's going out. They panic and they start tapping. No, not them. They could be practically almost out and they still get out somehow, some way. They push their way through.
Because I saw there was a clip of Islam and he was gaslighting the dudes. He was inside the cage and he was gaslighting the guys outside. They're like, "Oh, so you took second place in the world? Why, you weren't good enough to take the first one?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what it is. It's just the mindset. I love their mindset. All them Khabibs, Islam, I love their mindset because they went to the mountains. You see their training facility in the mountains? No distraction.
Yeah.
That's all they do. Train, eat, sleep, pray. That's all they
I heard,
do.
so Mighty Mouse was visiting them recently, and he was talking with Khabib, and Mighty Mouse asked him about one of the training partners,
Oh, yeah,
and he
got
goes,
in trouble.
he goes, yeah, we broke his PlayStation. He goes, oh, I believe it. Like it didn't even like it wasn't like a really. It was more of like a, yeah, I believe. I'm not on question you guys did at all.
Because
And
I'm playing Fortnite. That's what he said. Like, they were
he
playing
told him
Fortnite together.
he blamed Mighty Mouse for him losing a fight. He's like, oh, he playing with you too much instead of training. That's why he lost that fight.
Shit, he meant it. Yeah, I bet you he
Yeah,
meant it.
yeah. Those guys are dead serious.
That was the time he asked him.
Yeah.
I bet you he meant that,
And there's also that
There was that funny part. Sorry to cut you off, Jay. When he was kicking the bag and he was hitting it kind of like soft, like technique, and the guy was like, "Hit it harder, hit it harder." He's like, "I'll hit it harder, but you feel it. Come on."
Yeah. The thing is also, I think also what helps is, and this is my opinion. You don't have to agree, guys. But I think in Western world, we're very manicured about what you say to people on the mats, how much jokes you can do. These guys, they don't give a shit. They're straight up go out there and like make fun of you and things like that. And I think that's part of it too. That culture, like that bullying culture, right?
It's
on
weird.
The mats.
It's weird because I grew up in that age, but I don't feel that way in any kind of way,
bring bullying
right?
back. Start fat
So-
shaming.
So like the other day it happened to me with one of my cousins I hadn't seen in a while. I said something and it was out of cariño. Like I was being like trying to make him feel included kind of thing and stuff. And later on I figured out I offended him. And I was like, damn, like I feel bad, but like in reality I was actually trying to be nice. Like almost for us as guys, especially horseplay is almost a show of love to your friends. And like being like you gotta roast the shit out of each other.
If your friend doesn't bust your balls,
It's not your friend.
he's not your friend.
No.
You know what I'm saying? If he don't make fun of you, he's not your friend. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's weird though.
People-
Today's age.
These days, people got feelings like them type of feelings you got. If you don't like, especially in martial arts, period. If you got feelings, you're in the wrong type of business. You can't have feelings in martial arts. You know, go in there, grind it out, and do what you got to do, and learn technique. Keep your mouth shut, and learn. Be a student at the game. You know.
Well, that's the problem with us, though. Every time we go to places, like for the first week, they go complain to the coaches about
Well,
us.
because
They always go complain.
yeah, I gotta tell little Derek all the time. I said, "Can we go to this new place?" I said, "We have to be nice." He goes, "What you mean?" Because our wrestling and our grinding is a lot different. They're not used to that.
Yeah.
So if you go to like jiu-jitsu schools,
That's not how it is. Yeah.
always say, well, the gentle art, the gentle art, the gentle art. When I come in, you know, I
You're
came
like-
from a different background, but learned jiu-jitsu, and I'm grinding them out. My head's in their chin line, pushing pressure, and my elbows in their eye socket, trying to get this. Come on, oh, that's a douchebag. No, it's not. It is. It's not being a douche. It's just
We're fighting.
You're
Like-
not used to that. Like I'm callous to that. When my son was growing up and doing everything, I got him callous to that. So if you do it to him, it's another day in the mat.
I just
That's-
laugh at them half the time. Like they start like trying to do wrestling ground like into my cheekbone. I just chuckle and like, they ain't doing nothing. I just shove them off real
You become
quick.
callous, right? That's what it is. You become callous. Like all these world champions, right? You can't do nothing to them that they haven't been done. They're used to that. They're callous to that. But these advertisements to schools talking about be so gentle.
Well, they gotta get the lawyer and the doctor in there, right? Like they want to come off the mat without the
Yes.
black and blue, you know.
But I know how not
I
to
was
be a douche.
literally just talking to my doctor about it. We were talking about the UFC gym opening. I was like, yeah, you should pop out over there. And she's like, do they hit you? And I'm like,
Really hit
they
you.
don't hit you, but you know, you might come with a scuffle.
Like any combat,
Yeah.
anything combat or anything that you got to do like football, baseball,
Contact sport.
contact sport.
You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get bumps and bruises.
It's like
Yeah.
the one gym that we go to like back home, the Shark Tank. When I first went there, cause I went there like for a week, like from my old gym. I got a guy in a mount. I did a punch choke is.
Yeah, buggy choke.
No.
Not buggy choke. Sorry, Ezekiel, like a no-gi Ezekiel.
Yeah, I was on top of him, but punch choke is just you literally just putting your fist into their neck. He was choking his chicken. He's doing the proper technique. I was like, I ain't gonna do nothing. I started just putting it literally into his
The bone,
the
yeah.
bone, like where his jaw is hinged at. I just kept putting pressure, holding it. He tapped. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What? Oh, you could have broke my jaw. You didn't do the technique right." I was like, "But did you tap?
Yeah.
No, you
So
tapped.
that's-
Why are you complaining?"
So our understanding is this. This is where I have. When I listen to people, I understand it became a sport, but it's a martial art. So I said, if you're gonna cry, like I said, he just said, little Derek said, if I got my knuckle in your jawline and you don't let me get under, so I put enough pressure on it, so you can give me what I want, or you just I'll
Or
break
you're
your
gonna
jaw,
tap,
right?
yeah.
I'm not gonna break a jaw in training, but I put enough pressure. What it is you think it's a sport. It's not a sport. People can understand it's not a sport. It's a martial art. So can we do sports? The reason why we compete and everything, because that's the next thing to be live to see how we progress, right? That's why we made the point system and stuff like that. But I competed at that level, and I see people, they play the rules very well, they'll get the mount, come off the mount, get back on the mount, come back. Okay then, yeah, you got the points. But in real life situation, you didn't do nothing. You didn't attack. You didn't try to finish him. That's the whole point of it. We have to finish. If you don't finish in real life situation, you can be killed if you don't finish. And that's the little, sometimes like I said, I'm old school. I get a little hard on. I'm looking like, man, I ain't doing that, But we have to be nice because now they made it into a sport and they want the point system.
Well, there's this, right? Like, there's always one guy in a gym that's always down to go. Like, let's just go. And that's usually the guys that you want, hey, let's just go together. Like, in our gym, we have a guy, he always wants to roll with me. I was like, bro, why do you want to roll with me when we not even warm? Let's go warm up with somebody else, and then I can have I'm warm, I can go at it, and you can go at it. Like, we just do it that way. Oh, yeah, you make sense. Like, I know you're eager to roll with me, but, like, why are we doing this? Why do you want to hurt yourself while we're cold still, right? Like, let's just get warm up, get a little bit of sweat going, and then now that we're both primed, and then we can just get at it and do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think where that gets real tricky is with kids, especially. You always want to, we would love to see kids in martial arts. And I feel like when I started martial arts at 10, right? From 10 to 13, I went to like an MMA academy. From 14 to 16, I boxed. And then at 21, I started jiu-jitsu again. And when I was a kid, it wasn't that long ago, but it was still long enough ago where they were able to be harsh on me, right? Like, ain't no fucking crying on the mat. You want to start crying? Get out of here. Go, move now. You forgot your belt. You're gonna sit in the front for 20 minutes, and you're also gonna do push-ups and run laps, like all that stuff. Versus nowadays, I've seen some kids classes. I'm like, man, like zero discipline instilled, and I see that, and I'm just like, I understand why it's happening, but it's like we gotta find a way around it, right? Because the reason I say I understand why is because of what we were just talking about, people becoming light and all that stuff nowadays. And having to watch what you say to people, and even the fact that we even have to have that conversation about adults, you already know it's an issue with kids then.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, there's also with the kids, you know, I think it's because of the parenting styles that they have at home. You know, the kids are not used to that tough love. Like you messed up and somebody wants to have a little conversation with Johnny. Johnny, why are you screaming? You know, instead of, hey, Johnny, corner, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until you stop screaming. Oh, you're crying?
Just hit him.
Go to your room, continue crying until you stop crying. You know what I mean?
Or you crying? I'll give you
I'll
something
give you
to cry
something to cry
about.
about.
Just start
Yeah.
hitting your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring hitting our kids back.
Believe me, I did that when I was young. One time my mom, you know, said she smacked me up, and I was under the table trying to hide. I act like I was going to a seizure and stuff like that. I was like 9 years old, and she said, "Oh, you want?" She started kicking me under there, kicking me while she said, "I'll give you something. You want to seize? You want to move up?" She kept on kicking me.
Oh, so it's generational then, because mom did the same shit to me. Because she came home from work doing a double. It was nighttime. It was thundering outside. I hid behind the door. I scared her. She's like, "You motherfucker!" And she chased me. I slipped. She's wearing combat boots. Come from the jail. She kicked me in the damn ribs. Like she kicked me like a couple of times. Like, what the hell? She's like, you deserve it.
I can see that's a son thing. I love scaring the shit out of my mom. Oh my god! Any chance I get, I see her coming in the house, I hide behind the doorway. Or like if I just walk out of my room and she's in the kitchen with her back turned and I know she didn't hear me, I just scream. And
I can't do it with him because last time I did, I was a little kid. I scared him. He turned around and jabbed me in the fucking mouth. Just boom. He's like, oh shit, I just fucked up.
I've gotten a nice punch to the chest for scaring my dad.
My mom gets scared easily too, so it's like you can just, she's doing laundry or whatever, and you just don't make any noise and come around the corner. Hi, ¿qué susto?
Oh, and she'll chase me with whatever she has. She'll tell me, me diste un ataque corazón, me vas a dar un ataque corazón un día. Muchacho, deja esa vaina. Oh man, I love it. I love it.
No, so let me ask you this. Since times have changed and you've been, you know, law enforcement, you know, what, 20, coming on 20 some years now, right? Yes. More. How have the mentality of people that are, because this is how I look at it. Jail is full of very emotional men that cannot control their emotions.
Yes.
Now, was it the same back then as it is now, or do you see more of that now?
More emotions now, you know, especially if you work behind the wall, you know, because I work behind the wall too. I go from the streets to the wall, behind the wall, and I tell you right now, every day you deal with thousands of different personalities, but especially in New Jersey, you know, I gotta say it's like, you know, this liberal damn state, you know, you got inmates think they got rights. No, you just murder somebody, you got no damn rights, but these liberal people tells them, hey, you got rights too. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You just murder somebody. You going away for your left, but that mindset, like you said, they want to talk back, and like they don't want. That's why you're in jail, because you don't follow orders. You don't follow laws.
Mike Tyson said it the best. Jail is full of a bunch of emotionally inept men that can't handle simple rules. That's why they're in there.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it is because I think this is my opinion. There's no proof behind it. I think that's part of it is because of the broken families, because dads are not at home and there's no disciplinary at home to put them in place. Yeah, because you know I think, you know, call me whatever you want to call me, and you know, chat whatever you want to call me, but I think all the way to about 5, 6, that's kind of mom's job to like nurture the kid. After 6, dad kind of have to step in and start disciplining the kid. You know what I mean? Because until the 6, your kid is not really comprehending what's going on.
They are.
Yeah,
some of them do.
When the little fucker starts to walk and talk, trust me, he's got some bad intentions.
Really discipline him like that, like you should, yeah. And then I'm not talking about like being violent or anything like that, but just like the kid understanding that there's a hierarchy here, and they can't just step outside, scream at the mom, or cuss, or this thing, or whatever you want. Pick a subject, right? I think it's part of I think that the broken homes is the.
And then you're right, because working behind the wall, you listen to them too, right? Sometimes like I talk to people behind the wall, like they're never going home. Like murderers and stuff like that. I seen grown men actually cry on their bunk just crying. They've been locked up 25 years, and I'm walking by and I see them crying. And, I'm like, yo, what's up? You good? And they just like, I should have made a better choice with my life.
Yeah.
They
Not that they're regretting
not
this.
regretting, and I made it. So a lot of people, like all these people, these young kids on the street, you know what I'm saying? They like advertise like how thug they want to be thugged and everything. But when they get behind that wall, when the door is shut, and when it's, everybody knows this is what I call prison, the cemetery of the living, because everybody forgets about you, like the cemetery, right? After a while, you go, you cry, you
after
go.
a while, everybody's gonna forget about it. Yeah.
And then life keeps on going on. Same thing as prison. Once you're there for life, at first everybody's sending you letters. I seen letters, you call it, and then all of a sudden, time passes, everybody just disappears because life goes on.
Parents die, kids don't know you anymore, and things like that. Yeah, and of course, that's also a big business. Prisons do get money. Like there can be some reform done to the prisons, but like somebody that murdered or did something like that, these school shooters, and things like that. Yeah, you deserve to be behind.
It's actually funny. We had that conversation the other day about prisoners getting paid like a certain amount to get to work within the prisons, and me and Jay had some different views on that. Basically, he was trying to you go ahead and explain your point with how like you're saying the like federally owned versus privately owned prisons and all that stuff would work. Remember we were talking about that the other day and getting paid?
Yeah. So my point was this: like, if you want your sentences reduced and things like that, do shit for the people. Like the federal government needs these roads cleaned. Go and clean them. Do stuff for it. But if you're, and then you're doing this and okay, they're gonna give you some sort of a minimum wage, right? But if you're working for a private company and private companies like benefiting off of you and things like that, right? Is that what you're doing?
The private companies will never work. They always fall apart. People say, why do they fall apart? Because private companies don't want to pay their staff any money. So what happens when you don't want to pay the staff?
You don't get the best of the best.
You don't get the best of the best. You get the low totem pole, right? Because you don't have, your curriculum sucks, right? You're paying somebody $15 an hour to deal with serial killers,
right?
So, but now you think about this: if somebody's locked up, because you get people that got locked up, they got money. They're wealthy people that are locked up. And they tell these guys they're only making $15 an hour. Bring me a cell phone in. I'm gonna give you $1,000 a cell phone. What?
Yeah.
You give me $1,000 a cell phone. If I bring you $5 a week, that's $5,000 a week.
Prison wallet's about to get full before I go to work.
Yeah, so that's what happens.
Everybody getting internet connection up in this bitch.
That's why
that actually has happened. Because the thing with private prison, they're actually the most corrupt prisons. Like he said, they just bring stuff.
That's why it will never work.
Yeah.
People that try, it will never work because
it's the same thing with the teachers. Because teachers don't get paid. Teachers don't get paid. You get the bottom of the totem pole. It's teachers that are teaching the kids. Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why like when people say I'm a privatize, it will never work.
It's like you
have to pay. You have behind you can't be gullible and work behind a wall, because I'll tell you right now, them inmates got nothing but time to think about how to do something, how to wiggle finagle, how to talk to you.
Convince.
It's like we call it
being a duck.
Being a duck, right? So what it means? So basically, an inmate he talks to you every day, and then he'll try to become your friend, right? And then he sees you every day. He sees your moods and everything. And then one day you might come in upset. What's going on? And what's going on? And he talked to him. At first, like, you don't want to tell me your business, but then he'll be like, I understand. I've been there before. This that. And then you got some officers. They don't have nobody to talk to, so they're talking to this inmate, right? And the inmate starts stringing him along, and then all of a sudden they become friends, right? He says, yo, by the way, think you could bring me a cigarette? I haven't smoked a cigarette in 15 years. All right, because you're his friend now.
And something so innocent kind of thing, huh? Right. They start little.
That was the first thing they asked me when I started. First thing, hey, bring me a cigarette. I'll give you $100. I'm like only like a month in.
So that's what they try to do. They try to make you the duck, right? And then on a sudden, it gets a little bigger. Yo, you think you can bring me a cheesesteak? Man, I haven't had a cheesesteak in 10 years. Okay, I'll bring you a cheesesteak. Then on a sudden, you caught up. Now, okay, I want these drugs in here. Oh, I'm not bringing that in. Well, all the shit you just brought me in. You don't give it to me. You don't bring it in. I'm gonna go to Eternal Affairs. Now you got you, right?
Yeah.
You're being a duck. So I'll tell you right now, inmates got all day thinking about how they're gonna do it. And now, with all technology these days, if they want to find out where you live at, call home, talk to family, public records. Yo, find this guy. Boom, 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 boom. In this area, shit comes right up online. Hey man, you don't do this for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna send somebody to your house. Man, you don't know where I live. All of a sudden, they set your address and everything, your family. Like, whoa, shit. It's crazy. But know what I blame? Internet has a lot of people's information. So being behind the wall, working behind the wall is kind of dangerous. You know?
Yeah, and how do you prevent that?
No. Everything's no. Be firm, fair. You have to be fair. Be consistent. So be every day you walk in behind the walls, make sure you're the same way every day. So know what happens? The inmates get to know what type of person you are, type
Shit,
of
for
officer.
$15 an hour?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! You know what? Act like a fucking Hollywood star for $15 an hour? That don't make no damn sense.
That's why it will never work. That's why, like, you got some cities and stuff. Like in Jersey, it's not privatized. Jersey's all union, everything, and we make good money because privatized it will never work. Never work. You know.
So let me ask you this: how's the situation now? You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, with the with the immigration and stuff like that right now, because New York, not Jersey. New York's been a hotbed for that, and Florida sending people over there. Has that hit Jersey or not really?
It did. The governor tried to hide it. You know what it is? But the governor, know what he is? He toes the line. Right? He tries to do everything all about it. Like he does, because he's a Democrat. So he does toe the line. Like he'll bring without trying to not show anybody, right? But on the other hand, when he gets a little pinch, when they come on him, he throws his hands up. No, I'm not doing that. No, and then he'll try to be fair about it. But yeah, he toes the line a lot, and I can't wait till he goes.
Hey,
he destroyed Jersey. This governor destroyed Jersey.
Heck, he was the one that fucked all the corrections. He fucked us over because he promised us a whole bunch of stuff, and he turned his back and actually took stuff away from us. And he was like stuff that actually hindered us, like just to do our job just day to day. Like there's no more consequences because all the administrative stuff
like
he
working
put
the
in.
street and going behind the wall. Is
it two different animals?
Yes, people don't understand, man. Like the people that work behind the wall, give them so much credit because they're in the trenches every day, right? Dealing with what the society don't want to deal with.
Yeah, the garbage.
The garbage, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The society don't want to deal with. That's why they send them to prison, right? But you got these staff members, these officers that go in there every day dealing with this mental. Imagine we have our own problems at home. That we got to go home and listen to all this BS.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. A lot of people on the streets don't. You got to give these people behind the wall credit because they deal with so much shit. And then sometimes you got the inmates that go call their family and lie about, oh, they beat me up in here. Nah, ain't nobody beating you up.
Yeah, what's the point? Of cameras everywhere.
Yeah, there's
Who's
cameras
gonna beat
everywhere.
you up?
Nobody beating you
And
up.
and the way the everything is now right now, you think they wouldn't want to make an example out of you if they find out somebody's beating somebody up and they got the footage? Everybody would be all over it. Just we got this fucking corrupt
Officer, you know what I'm
officer. Yeah.
I never thought about it that way in the sense of being on the inside of the wall. As you say, everyone you're walking around is that criminal, right? Everyone. Versus being on the outside, it's everyone's on the outside is mostly not a criminal, and I'm looking for that one.
Yes. So
I'm
think
looking
about
for
this.
that one
Here's how it
versus
goes,
I'm
right?
surrounded by all of them.
When you're on the
Lead
outside,
haystack.
Yeah.
when you're on the outside of the wall, when you work in the streets, you catch them, and what happens? You send them away. You never got to see that person again.
Right. It's a one
Yeah,
week,
once he
1
goes
month,
behind
one
that
interaction
wall,
kind of thing, however
All
long.
them officers behind the wall, they deal with them every day.
You're gonna deal with that guy until the end of your sentence when you retire, or
Yes.
the end of his sentence.
Statistics say every person that works behind the wall 5 years, they did 2 years of their life in prison. That's crazy. So, and people don't understand, like,
Because you're there, even though you're not locked up, but you're there behind those closed doors.
yeah, it's chaos behind the walls. Every day you go in there, you like, sometimes you go in the parking lot, like, should I call out sick? You say, fuck this day.
It's happened.
It's happened.
It's happened. Some guys quit. Some guys went in. I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah, I have friends that worked there 15, 20 years.
I've had that feeling working for Best Buy, so I can only imagine what it would be like in prison.
Imagine going in there and then all of a sudden you going in there, you just had a bad day. You've been there 20 years, and then you dealing with all this, the inmates' bullshit, their lies and their crimes and everything, and talking shit, and then you have your your sergeant, your lieutenant come up to you, giving you shit. You're like, nah, no, fuck you, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I quit.
There's one friend you have. You cool. Everybody else, fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah, that has happened.
Yeah.
Because the stress behind the walls. I went to the doctors, right, a few years ago, right, and you know the regular checkup, physical checkup. You know, like I said, I deal with so much on the street, behind the wall, and he says, "Derek, you good?" I'm good. He goes, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, what's wrong?" He says, "Your blood pressure is high as hell. Are you stressing?" No. We're people that work behind the wall so much, they stress and I don't even know they're stressing.
Oh, you just that's your new baseline.
Yes.
Yeah.
People have retired, like they're going to enjoy. Oh, I retired at 55. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life. 6 months later, they died because they just had a heart attack because the stress is built up.
So yeah, it's crazy, like what your body goes through without you even knowing.
So let me ask you this. You might know this. Now, you know, a lot of people always talk about how, you know, we need a prison reform, this and that, the third, the fourth. And then they're bringing example of, you might know this or might not. If you don't, that's fine. Bringing examples of like Scandinavia and Norway and things like that.
Yeah.
Because over there, they get to go home over the weekend and stuff like that. And these are, you know, murderers and things like that. It's no different over there. Do you think it's more of a societal thing? Do you think it's more of it's both society and the attitude? Why do you think is one way over there and it's over? What would be the difference? Why is it like that?
Why they let them go?
Well, no. Why
does it work?
Why does it work for them and it doesn't really work for us? I know I'm putting you on a spot, and
Yeah.
if you don't know the answer, that's fine, because I don't
can't
think
really
anybody
know the
else knows the answer.
Yeah, I can't really know the answer, but the only thing I can say is consequences. You know, I don't know what type of consequences they got over there. You know.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to like society. Like over there, you look, it's all close knit families. You don't really got a lot of close knit families here in the West, especially in America. You don't see it.
The sense of community has been dying for the last about 30, 40 years in this country.
Yeah.
I mean, especially since the age of technology. I mean, it has separated us more than anything else has in human history.
Yeah, because I come from a country where you know it was very well known. You know, back in the day it was Soviet USSR, and since back from Soviet USSR, they've had a couple of prisons that were very well known, and two of the prisons, there's the Black Swan, there's a White Swan, and there's the Dolphin, right? Like they're three different prisons, and they're known for keeping the worst of the worst of the worst there, and they've been doing it since like years and years back. We're talking about 60, 70, 80 years, and you know, any time people go in there, they come out even worse. Like there's no in between, right? Like they either go in there, come out worse, more hardened criminals, or they come out with so many health issues that they're like the tuberculosis. Regular tuberculosis is curable, but there's this new version of it. They call it golden tuberculosis that initiated in Russian prisons because they don't have enough medicine to cure it, right? So I don't know what it is, because a lot of people talk about, you know, Scandinavian. I'm trying to bring this full circle here, and United States, and they're talking about when we need more reform. Look at them, they're doing it, but nobody really has an understanding why they're doing it over there. Why is it working? You know, yeah. What's the population over there? There were 350 million here. Over there, like 20 million maybe.
I can be wrong, but over there, the consequences is harsh. If you mess around, this is what happens. Over here, you can get a serial killer, right? And you're gonna give him rights.
El
He's a
Salvador's
human,
the
he got
best
rights. But what you mean? He just killed 10, 15 people. They didn't think about their families. He didn't think why he should have rights.
Yeah.
Why he should get the best treatment. Why he should get free medical. We have people here don't get free medical. They give him, if he, like, it's so much they get, it makes get here. It's crazy.
El Salvador did the best. You
And
don't get shit.
And it costs us so much money
Yeah.
to do that. Like you're saying, the medical and food and just care and all that stuff in
Do
general.
you think there's a way to do the re-education? Like, is there a way to get this, or these people are so far gone that it's very difficult to even like pluck them out and touch them and just make sure touch them? Pause.
No, there's people in there for touching.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I think, like, me personally, I think you have to. We do have it, separation by categories. You know what I'm saying? But I think it should be certain prisons for certain categories. a lot of times they bunch a lot of people up, and
Because what would it have? Like Supermax and then
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but they start moving people around, and if you go in for DUI, if you gotta do 6 months for DUI because you got caught drinking driving 5 times DUI, why the hell are you gonna put him and his cellmate is doing life?
Yeah, that make no damn sense.
It's like
I was curious. I looked up the average and median cost for prisoners across the U.S.
like
for
30,000 a month, right?
it's annually between 44 and 65,000.
Okay.
So more than the average person makes a year in the United States. It costs to house a single prisoner. So it's insane.
You know what it is? I don't even talk about Jersey. It's like when you can be working, then you got an inmate that tells you, yeah, thanks for your taxpayers. Yeah, the governor, I'm gonna get a sex change on your dime. Like, yeah, ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
Like, but this is how they cater to these people.
At one
I don't,
point,
it's like, it blows my mind. It really blows my mind, like how people on the street that, because everything connects to politics, everything, and people think like, I'm not saying inmates shouldn't be treated fairly. Every person humanity should be treated fairly, but at the end of the day, they're a criminal. They committed crimes. They only could get so much, and they want to give them the world.
Yeah, it's a very fine line. How do you thread that line? How do you deal with it? You know, and I don't know. They do need to do something about it. I don't know what it is. I just know that they need to do something about it. And but yeah. So guys, just final thoughts here. I know you guys are down here quite often.
Yeah.
I want to bring you guys back because I think like we got so much more stuff to talk about.
Oh,
We really appreciate you guys
These
coming
episodes,
too.
yeah,
Thank
these
you.
episodes never are like, we're always kind of have to cut it, and we're always like hungry for more, because like anytime you bring somebody in, they got to come back at least 3, 4, 5 times before anyone kind of gets any idea what's going on, right? Because we're talking about here, there, the third,
jumping
fourth,
all
all
over
over
the
Yeah,
the place. Yeah,
but that's the good thing though, because if we try and keep it too strict, it becomes so like monologue.
Yes.
Very like, we want to make it a nice conversation where we all can enjoy. So which is why we like doing it like that.
If it's okay with you guys, next time you're down, I would like to have you, again on a pod,
definitely.
and maybe talk about more about going into the sports. I know in the last part of the conversation went more about work, but I want to talk more, bring you back to sports, and maybe do an episode where we're talking about the UFC fighters and things
I
like
always
that.
love having wrestlers, especially because I have no knowledge of wrestling whatsoever. I do respect it. I think it's the highest paid sport in the world. I do understand that, and you guys are.
Is it highest paid sport?
I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I believe that. I mean, even I've never done it a day in my life, and I respect that standpoint of it. Like, compared to any other martial art, highest pace.
So think about
Oh,
this.
highest pace. I thought you
Yeah.
said paid.
I was like,
Oh no, highest pace.
Yeah, highest pace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
what I'm talking
pace,
about, yeah.
pace, and that's why I respect it. It's
So-
because of you guys' grind.
So think about this, right? Not to bust anybody's balls, any martial arts balls. In the UFC, who holds the most belts?
Who holds the most belts?
Probably wrestlers. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's right,
that.
wrestlers.
Yeah.
So if you teach a wrestler, right, how to strike, how to submit,
Yeah,
it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
You look at it. You can look it up. You look at who holds the belts. Like when it started, and you look at all of it, it's all wrestlers.
Grapplers.
It
Yeah.
got more wrestlers holding belts than other martial arts.
yeah, that makes sense.
It is interesting though. I do have to counteract that point though, because
Yeah.
one, every round starts standing.
Yep.
Two, you have seen a lot of great strikers that they just learn takedown defense and they dominate, right? Because standing up, those grapplers a lot of times are in a whole nother world when it comes to like Israel Adesanya, reigning champ for a long time. Never see him grapple. Just defense, just takedown defense, and you have guys successful in both ways. I think it's wrestling because of that pace and cardio, and that's a big thing in MMA. It's cardio. It's like outlasting your opponent. It doesn't even matter. You can fucking get dominated for the first 2 rounds, but if that guy's gassed in the third, it's cake kind of thing, right? And that's where I think the wrestling is a big thing. It's not only just the martial art itself, it's the grind and cardio that comes with it, right? Being able to push for so long, high pace for so long.
You know what's crazy? Like everybody's seeing what they're doing, like all these new things, like the cold plunge and doing all that for like the athletes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing that when we were kids.
Right.
We were jumping in trash cans. Our coaches had ice in trash can, making a jump. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing what my coach did.
Right.
But he knew that that like the
The
health
recovery,
benefits
yeah.
and recovery of it. I didn't know, but that's what we were doing. So now it's so big. I'm like, people making it seem like this just came out. No, this has been around. Wrestlers
Right.
been doing that, tire flips and everything. Wrestlers been doing that since I don't know how long.
Which I think was started, not I don't know if Russia or not, but that like basically Eastern Europe, right? Those guys have been doing cold plunge, like the hot and cold,
Yeah.
going from the fucking freezing ice cold lake into the sauna back and forth. They've been doing that for a
Oh
long
yeah, that's part
time.
of like the culture. Like
Yeah.
that's how you hang out. You got the fire, meat is cooking while you're drinking and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They would tell you don't get too drunk because you know something might happen.
What up,
Fish you out underneath the ice.
Now-
you slip
Yeah.
under.
Now, as a wrestler, right? You know, you watch a lot of wrestlers that fight in the UFC and they win a title and stuff like that. I don't agree. Some people, because of the academies, because he's a champion, give him their black belt. If they haven't put the gi on, because now I'm going to jiu-jitsu part of
Yeah.
it. You got to earn that black belt. You got to understand that gi. You can't just get a black belt. I'm just old school.
Mhm.
You just get a black belt because you won a title. Because you train out of their camp.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the hair.
I'm against that. You know?
You don't think so?
I
So
never
let's say
understood that either. When
So
guys
if
would come
they
in
go
and
in
get
the
belt
highest
promotions
levels-
after a fight.
If a wrestler
In
goes at the
jiu-jitsu,
highest
at
levels,
least.
let's say we're
Always,
talking about ADCC,
Emotions
takes a
will
second or
rise.
third place. You don't think they deserve to get their black belt, even though if they haven't gone through the whole thing?
Nope.
No.
Know why? Because now think about this, right? No gi is a fast-paced game, right? You can have a blue belt, a good wrestler. I mean, good, fantastic wrestler is blue purple belt against a black belt, right? And no gi. The black belt will put him in bad positions, but once you start sweating there, he's gonna get out of that because he's a D1 wrestler. He's been, he knows how to slip out. He knows how to do all that. He deserves, because say he wins the whole ADCs. Does he deserve to have a black belt because he beat black belts? No. Now let's test their knowledge. Put a gi on them, start testing their knowledge.
Yeah.
Because if you put a gi on that wrestler and then put the gi on the black belt, I'm saying the jiu-jitsu guy, you see a whole
That's a
game.
different game. That's a different game. And you know, I'm surprised you didn't see that. For example, like Nick Rodriguez, right? I don't think it was up until recently that he got his black belt. Like literally last year or the beginning of this year. And how many years has he been known as the black belt slayer since he was a blue belt? I mean, like you said, a wrestler came in, dominated. But he just got his black belt after doing this for 5 to 6 years.
Like Nicky Rod, like how you talking about.
Yeah.
He's from my area. He's like, I used to see his mama Wawas every morning. You know, I knew what he was a kid. He was chunky when he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, he's been a good average good wrestler. You know, now take it. Everybody that you keep on getting on the mat, yeah, you get good. Not to, listen. I'm a fan of Nicky Rod. He's from my area. Think about this. Now, what I'm talking about, just grappling. If you look at Nicky Rod, right? I watch his fights, right, and everything, and I love his fights. But when he gets in bad position, what he does?
Tries to push out.
There you go. He separates himself. He tries to escape and runs from it. He never likes to get contact. If he takes contact and then the other guy's getting the best of him, he starts to try to get out and run out and start to run. Nah, you know. So how you supposed to get a black belt if you don't understand that? Like, work your way through that, you know. He don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Now let's think about this. He's one of the best scramblers I think out there. But think about it. If he's so, look at his submission rate. It's not high at all. He wins a lot by points and stuff like that, but his submission rate is low. And I won't take nothing because, like I said, man, he's
really
doing
good.
his thing. You know, he's doing his thing. But I just, I'm not gonna say anything better. He's good.
Well, that actually
I'm
happened.
just looking at the submission rates and stuff.
That actually happened in the most recent competition that we had here, and it was the absolute division, and there was a black belt in there, and Nolan, who maybe been on a mat for jiu-jitsu 2-3 times max, entered the competition. He's not even a black belt, but he's a D1
Wrestler.
competing wrestler, and he went against the black belt. He basically was crushing the division, and goes against the black belt. And the only way black belt won was by a leg lock. And if he knew a little bit about leg locks, he was gonna crush the black belt as
Yes.
well. And he's never been on a mat, right? Like,
So think about that. So since he was giving everybody trouble, that he deserves his black belt.
no, yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
You know, and I'm just saying. I think when you get your black belt, it's an understanding.
Because it's a
Right.
black
was
belt
exactly-
in jiu-jitsu. It's not a black belt can fuck somebody up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly. You stole the words out of my mouth. Understanding of the art, not
Yes.
just being able to dominate in the sport. The understanding of the
And you
art.
understand? Can you teach it? Can you regurgitate the information that you learned over years, and teach it right and give it back? And have an understanding. I can be across the mat and seeing somebody do it because he got different body type. He's trying to get this technique to go with it and fix that technique for him for his body type. You know, that's I'm just a little hard on it. I'm like, man, he shouldn't get his black belt because he might dominate me, beat the hell out of me, but does he got more knowledge than me? Because I'm a lot older than him. You know, he's a lot bigger. You know, that doesn't mean that he should get his black belt.
Different aspects to start looking at it for different reasons, kind of
Yes.
thing, like the sport, then the art, and all those
Yeah.
different ways to break it down and understanding all those different variables, kind of thing.
Yes, definitely. So
Yeah.
you know, I see people that get their black belts. Like like I said, first I'm a wrestler, right? You know, and I see him. Why they give him his black belt? Don't you give him false hope? Because he thinks that I'm a black belt. Then he goes against a black belt, and it says gi, he gets destroyed.
There's a big difference. Yeah, anytime I'm rolling with wrestlers in a gi, there could be good and there are scramblers on no gi, but the minute they're just like a fish out of water. They're like they
It's
don't
like you
really
have
know
a
what's
leash
going
on
on.
them at all
Yeah,
times.
because
Yeah.
no gi is a fast pace. With a kimono, it's a slow pace.
Uh-huh.
If you're faster than me, I just grab on and slow you up.
Yep.
Right?
Stop moving. Come here.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to keep moving? I'm not moving.
Just stall a little bit, let them wear out their
Stall,
gas, and
yeah.
then start
Yeah, think about it.
transitioning.
All these
So
all these-
slow paced.
all
It's
these-
so methodical. The
all these
gi.
best grapplers, right? That are wrestlers, right? And they beat a lot of black belts, but put them on their back.
Oof.
Done. Game over.
You see the difference. They go crazy, spaz out. They just break their own arm to get out of the position because they don't know technique to get out of there.
I saw a thing the other day, DC. He was saying, like, yeah, when I was, like, prime or when I was teaching my kids, like, I would even wake up in my sleep and be laying on my back and be like, nope, can't. Like, and sit on his side. Or, like, he says, like, when he's training his kids, if he sees a kid, like, laying down and both shoulders are on the mat, he tells him to get the fuck up. Like, all that stuff. And that's part of that wrestler grind. That right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard. Like I said, I love grappling. Period. I love jiu-jitsu. I love it all. But you got to, it has its differences. It has the pros and cons on both sides.
And they each have their place.
Yeah, each has their place. But I tell everybody this: if you want to be good at it, you should know both arts. You should know both arts.
Yeah.
You should know it.
And that's what I like about, now with Yuri being there, because he's been concentrating a lot on, whether it's gi, he's been concentrating a lot of judo takedowns, and then no gi, a lot of the wrestling takedowns, which then he takes it to the ground. It's not just like, okay, because in most academies, it's like, no, you start off to your knees. And first day white belts here is like, nah, we're starting off our feet.
It
You
was
know what I
weird
mean?
for me the first couple times I went to Yuri's class, and I think the first 2 or 3 times I went, it was all the I'm missing the phrase. All of like the technique lines that we were doing, they were all starting from a takedown, right? And like usually you go into jiu-jitsu class like, all right, we're starting in guard today, right? And it's like, and you think about it, it's like, well, why are you doing that? How'd you get to guard? How'd you get there? Or how did you even get to Del Hiva or whatever it is that you guys are starting at? And which I like because right now as a jiu-jitsu player, as a white belt, I'm fucking scared shitless of takedowns. Right? I've already hurt my elbow doing it before because I'm a retard, fucking putting my hand down. And so like I like that. I like being able to go in and seeing that because before it was all like I said, starting on the ground already, and you get to the point where right now when I go to roll, I'm just gonna sit in guard. I don't even want to risk the injury of a takedown because I feel so lacked of knowledge in that department that I don't even want to deal with that, right? And so being able to be more confident, and jiu-jitsu is known for that. Jiu-jitsu is known for the lack of takedown knowledge and teaching.
When it comes down to takedowns, unless you're going with an asshole, like if it's somebody that's not an asshole, like they can kind of sense your energy. They're not gonna just fucking chuck you to the ground,
like I
right?
said,
They're not. Now, if you're putting pressure down, it's like, all right, and you want to go really at it, we can go at it, and this is how it's done. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. I go off your pace, and we go. Like I said, I go in. I'm not a douche. Like, if you go slow, I'm going slow. I want to use more technique. To tell you the truth, I don't want to be that fast paced.
Yeah.
I want to.
Ain't nobody got time in. Like,
I'm older.
Yeah.
I wrestle these like today. Yuri's class. I wrestle the young kids. Man, they're monsters. And, like they're 19, 20. I'm 46 years old. I don't look 46, but I'm 46. Listen, I get them not because I'm stronger. I beat them on technique. Yeah. But man, they're monsters. You know, I don't got time to.
Yeah, my funniest thing is when you grab their elbow and it's not fucking moving. I was like, who the fuck put a tree trunk out here? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
you
like
know?
a
It's good-
20-year-old
it's good to
kid.
be
You know what I
young,
mean?
you know?
Oh man! All right, guys, let's wrap it up. I don't want to keep you guys for too
Thank
long.
you, thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
having
Thanks
us.
for coming, guys. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And anytime you're back, guys, I would, we'd love to have you back
Yes,
on a
yes.
pod because we want to talk. Like as you can see, conversation keeps going, and we
Yes,
don't want to
definitely.
stop. You know.
Definitely. I got
That'd be awesome.
a lot of years to tell you about grappling and stuff. Like you want to know about grappling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuff like
And
that.
maybe we incorporate some of that UFC stuff in there. You know what I mean?
Definitely,
So you see,
definitely.
what do you?
What I see different,
Yeah.
different aspect of people's.
Yeah, because
their
it's a
thoughts.
different angle, right? Like you're
Yeah.
looking at it at a different angle. Okay, well, I know this, so let me look at it at this angle and why it could work.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, man.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming. We really
Yes.
appreciate that. And thank you everyone in the chat today. Sorry guys, we didn't pay too much attention to anyone in there.
Yeah,
Sorry
Chris
about
said
that. We're a little busy.
Chris said,
but shout out to you
Brothers
guys.
in Blue, Chris Borba. Big,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a cool guy. He's been
Yeah.
on the pod several
Thank you
times.
guys for coming to hang out with us, and thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. We won't be having an episode this Thursday because it's your boy's birthday.
No,
So-
we have to because Nick and Yuri coming.
We'll have to see about that. We'll talk about that after the pod, I guess. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Peace.